Can a doubter believe? A doubter. Can a doubter believe? Years ago, after an exhausting 3 days teaching in St. Petersburg, Russia, followed by a long train ride to Moscow, I took another overnight train into the Ural Mountains. 4 of us squeezed into a little fold-down 4-bed compartment, tiny thing, and my bed was noticeably shorter than I am. And the conductor told us to tie our door shut to keep the robbers out when the train made various stops along the way. Sleep was difficult, but Fike, Sasha, and I had a great time talking and telling jokes well into the night. Actually, they ran out of jokes long before I did. The next day, leaving the train station in a cold winter rain, a bus brought us to the city of Izhevsk. We were met there by a mix of people, some Christians and some just curious. A newspaper reporter was there to investigate why the Americans had come to her city. And she was intrigued by my being there to teach the Bible. In a one-on-one conversation with Fike as our translator, she quickly moved beyond her assignment as a reporter to a very personal question. Here it is. She asked, "How can someone with so many doubts believe in Jesus?" We had plenty of time to talk, and I answered all her questions. And before I left, she put her faith in Jesus. She believed in him. I'll tell you more of that in a minute. You see, the subject of doubt is important when it comes to believing in Jesus. But first, here's a reality check on doubt. I've had some perplexing and serious health issues in the past several years, and my choosing the right doctors certainly includes a healthy dose of doubt. I'm a left-brained, information-based decision maker. I research every doctor I'm going to see. If his or her education and experience doesn't meet my standards, I find a different doctor. And it's interesting, it really is, to see a doctor's reaction when I comment on the medical school they attended or the hospitals where they interned or did their residencies. But in spite of all my research, I can't eliminate all doubt. Critical medical decisions are made with a combination of facts, faith, and doubt. And the balance of those three changes with the level of immediate need. My acceptability of a doctor, my threshold for that, was much higher for optional elbow surgery than it was in the ER after an airborne crowbar hit me in the eye. And in reality, all important decisions, all of them, include facts, faith, and doubt. Have you stood at the altar to get married? Have you ever decided to have children? Have you taken a new job, moved to a new city, bought a house, bought a car? Or have you ever boarded an airplane made by the lowest bidder? Well, they all are. There's some doubt for you. All of these decisions involve facts, faith, and doubt. And it's obvious that a decision about eternity is a whole lot more important than any other decision. And the reality is that any eternity decision includes facts, faith, and doubt. I've studied the facts in favor of Jesus for decades. The facts are overwhelming, conclusive, and convincing. And I can tell you, any decision to reject Jesus includes a huge amount of faith. Certainly doubt, and seldom that decision includes meaningful facts. But in this whole faith thing with God, there's a problem. If God is God, then he's infinite. And you and I are finite. That's a problem. As finite beings, we cannot understand everything about an infinite being. And if you're waiting to believe until you know everything about God, be prepared for an eternal wait, and be prepared to miss your window of opportunity. You see, you can't know everything about God unless he's finite, then he wouldn't be God. But he is God. Each one of us has an important spiritual faith decision to make about him. based on convincing facts in the face of what could be called reasonable doubt. Here's the best illustration I know. Imagine that you're standing at the open door of an airplane that's losing power, and it's headed toward a sure fiery crash into the side of a mountain. You've read about parachutes, you've seen them work at air shows, and in your head, you know they work. You believe about parachutes. However, now you're standing at that plane's open door with one strapped to your back. It's time to move your belief from your head to your heart. It's time to move beyond believing about parachutes to believing in parachutes. Would you have doubts at that moment? Of course you would. Let's say you're 80% sure that the parachute will save you. That means that you have 20% doubt, but you're 100% sure the plane will crash. So what should you do? I'll tell you this, it's not time to procrastinate. It's time to make a 100% faith decision and step out of that plane. Do you have doubts about believing in Jesus? You should. God's infinite. You're not. But the facts are in his favor. He is who he said he is. The facts are more than good enough for you to make a 100% faith decision. And we all need to make that decision before our eternal plane, figuratively, hits the mountainside. And keep this in mind, no decision. By that I mean waiting and not deciding. That is a decision. And no decision is a bad decision, a dangerous decision for today and maybe for eternity. Now, I'm glad, really glad that doubtful reporter made her decision for Christ. I was very pleased, very happy. But I tell you, I wondered if it was a real decision. Did she really believe in Jesus? Well, I had some doubt, and I thought I wouldn't ever know anything more about her. But several months later, I received a translated copy of her Russian newspaper report. You know what it was titled? It was titled, "My Brother Lives in America." I'll tell you, her faith decision was real. I'm John Morris, and this has been Just a Question.